This segment's going to be very short because it's kind of specialized. I've had quite a few requests since I started putting these online lessons on my website to explain how to use an asymmetric mouthpiece. And people are becoming more interested in them. And the biggest complaint that they have is they go to play it and they don't sound very good and they immediately abandon using the thing. So I'm going to go through a detailed discussion of it. What's interesting is most of what I say is on John Lynch's site, at the Asymmeric site. So I'll put a link at the bottom of the page linking back to that. He has a very nice set of text to explain how to do this. The only thing I do is a little differently is the volume thing, but we'll talk about that. Now, for those of you who are just curious and you don't know about this, this is an asymmetric mouthpiece and this is what I use exclusively. I'm going to step up to the camera here. Let the thing come into focus. Right there it is. Okay, that is an asymmetric mouthpiece. Now, the width from here to here is actually about like a 1C Bach. It's very wide. Obviously from here to here it's narrow. It's got the fat rim. The fat rim goes on your bottom lip. Okay, that's the way that Lynch designed these things. It goes on the bottom lip, not the upper lip. Though some people seem to have success doing it inverted like that. It doesn't work that way for me. So I'm only going to speak to what works for me, and you'll have to sort other things out on your own. Now, fat part goes on your bottom lip. When you first start to try to play one of these mouthpieces, you're going to be tempted to put it up right where your normal mouthpiece set would be, which might be a little higher. It'll feel funny if you do that. What you need to do is move it down. So it's maybe 1/3 upper lip, 2/3 lower. You want to have less upper lip in the mouthpiece. It may seem a little bit counterintuitive, but it works. Okay? And the reason it works is that the top part of the mouthpiece is so wide. So it allows you, even if you move it down a little bit, you still have a significant amount of upper lip in the mouthpiece. It's a big mouthpiece in the top half. So I move it down lower. This may be a high note lead mouthpiece, but it produces a wonderful sound in the lower and middle register. I've even used this on legit gigs, on B flat, not on C trumpet, but on B flat. So the key is setting it a little bit lower. Okay, that's really the key. Now, all the rest of my stuff explains how I practice. The rest of my practicing is designed to kind of work in any mouthpiece. So I should offer this disclaimer. At the time I started using these, which was in 2000, I'd already been used to switching mouthpieces like crazy, playing bass trumpet, tuba, alto horn, flugelhorn, and just switching around. I developed the skill to do that. It took me years to get there to where I could do that. But I finally developed that, so the idea of playing almost any size mouthpiece doesn't bother me. I do want to offer this last disclaimer. In order to play even conventional mouthpieces, I do have to practice at them. If I don't practice on conventional mouthpieces, my form gets a little bit ragged on it. I don't perform on them, I don't feel any need to. But I do like to practice on them for the point of teaching. When I do have to give instruction, I like to at least demonstrate again that the techniques that I use will work on any mouthpiece, not exclusively the John Lynch. Okay, some concluding remarks about doing this. The main thing is to bring it down lower. That's critical. If you don't do that, you will be frustrated with this mouthpiece. The other thing is the fat part goes on the lower lip, and so when you go to add pressure, and let's face it, no pressure is probably not practical. You just want to use as little pressure as possible. So when you go to, if you're going to add any pressure, it's added mainly to the lower lip. Part of the theory is that if you go to ascend and register, as I went higher, my lower lip came up and the bell came down, the pivot. Now, with a conventional mouthpiece, when your lower lip comes up, it also wants to try to pooch into the mouthpiece, and you have to use these muscles to kind of pull it straight up. It gets a little tiring. With this mouthpiece, with that fat wedge on the bottom, when you go to bring your lower lip up, it's going to no place to go but up. So it really helps you sustain the upper register. For me, the first thing I noticed was greater endurance. I got more endurance out of the mouthpiece, not more range. Over the years, as I got to practicing using Lynch's methods a little more carefully, I did find I picked up a little bit more range, but not much. So if there's any pressure, it's added mainly to the lower lip, which helps bring it up, and that helps you sustain your upper register. Now, I do find when I go to play the lower register, I tend to bulldog a little bit. But it does come out, and you can really make it come out fairly strongly. So that's how to use an asymmetric mouthpiece, right there. Okay. And once again, the link is at the bottom of the page if you want to go explore John Lynch's site. They do take patience to learn how to use, but I personally think it's worth the effort. There you go.